Jumped in the truck, made it out to Horseman's with the boys. Got Scumbag RC, Zach Utah County Crawler, and the Rock Pirates boys. We got Steve and Connor. What's happening, everybody? Gonna be a good day out here at Horseman's. Alright, what is going on, guys? This is Logan with West Desert Wheeler. In today's video, we're going to be taking out all the rear steer rigs and going after the hard lines here at Horseman Park. I am joined out here by Rock Pirates RC. We have Steve and Connor out here with us. We're taking a look at Connor's rear steer interceptor right here, and this thing is as good as it gets. Got Vanquish steer axles front and rear. Connor had a bunch of these parts custom anodized brilliant purple, and then he's got that fluorescent yellow body on there. Just an awesome looking truck out on the trails. You cannot miss it if it goes driving by. But Connor working his way through here. You may notice he has some awesome Proline Super Swamper tires. I actually did a modification and did cut and shut on these Proline Super Swampers. Although the bead ends up just a touch oversized for a 2.2, so I do not offer them, but Connor knew what he was getting into when he did it, so I made him a set as well as Steve at Rock Pirates a set. And I am a team driver for those guys, so it's a way to say thank you, and they kind of have the exclusive set of West Desert Wheeler Super Swampers. Here we're taking a look at a fun waterfall, and we're taking a look at Zach get a piece of it now. This one I actually broke open with my Interceptor, which is not a rear steer truck. It's a Class 2 style truck, and 4.75 tires, although this was very difficult. I got it once and then just freewheeling, and I tried to record it. I couldn't get it. I tried over and over, and finally Zach was actually the first one to get up and through this waterfall, and he kind of figured out if you started over from the left side at the bottom and then worked your way over right, you were able to get a hold of that ledge, and then the front tires would pull the car up and into the canyon. So watching Zach here, just tiny little tire adjustments will break traction and let it fall down an inch or so, and then you turn back the other way and it pulls the car right back up. But Zach doing an excellent job of just sticking with it, slow creeping and crawling. His RC Speedy R2 cage, I believe is what they are called. Very small, lightweight cage, and Capra based, so rear steer Capra axles. Here is Scumbag RC's Buggy. This one is a handmade cage by Emery Works in Utah. Very cool looking car. This is kind of a moon buggy style, kind of modeled after Pretty Penny is what I was told. So great looking car. Again, rear steer metal axles. Luke just put Treel metal axles on this one. So I believe everything we've seen so far has been on metal axles. I think there's only one car in the whole day that isn't, and I will point that out when we take a look at it. But Luke's got awesome taste. This thing looks excellent. It's got the pink shift 2.2 wheels. He's got my cut and shut tires on there, as well as Zach that we're taking a look at fall off of this ridiculously steep crack out the back side of it. So this is kind of going to be today's feature, is this obstacle right here. We're seeing Luke come down and make the turn into this pinch that leads you up and over this extreme drop off on the backside. So again, Luke's running those pink shift wheels. He's also got the shift servos in there. Shift RC makes some awesome products. A big fan right here, as well as myself. So the GT3 is an excellent servo, as well as the X2. The difference being one is BEC powered and one is direct powered. So pick your poison when it comes to that. He's got a deluxe portal transmission, as well as a Hobbywing Fusion Pro, so the 2-in-1, the motor and ESC are bundled together, which makes it convenient for when you have a buggy cage that is limited on space, and you know, space is a premium, so you don't want an ESC and a bunch of wires running around. It helps just clean it up and make it look nice. So I actually just built a buggy, a new one, that is also running that same combo, and I believe Zach's car is running that same combo too. So if you have a buggy, it's kind of the way to go, and it comes highly suggested from me and my friends. Luke just dropping the front end over the front side here, and we're going to get a good demonstration of just how strong these shift servos are here, because the car is starting to get bound up. The cage is kind of locked into that rock, and then we're seeing the tires get locked into the rocks as well, and never has an issue with running out of steering. So right here, the whole weight of the car is on that front tire that's trapped in the bottom of the crack and still able to steer. The rear end swinging up and around, kind of getting off line here, but a little bit of throttle and ends up back on all four. Hey, we'll take it when we can get it, right guys? So this would be Connor's Chupa Capra cage, and this one, again, rear steer Capra based car. I believe this one's got a 3-gear style transmission, if I am correct, so most likely an Axial or a Vanquish 3-gear in there. Connor has put an excellent looking wrap on this car, as well as the different choice of the bright blue wheels on here, the pink and the blue leopard print. I absolutely love the look of this thing, and he killed it. This is the car on the plastic axles, but I know that Connor has plans in the future to, you know, go ahead and turn those into metal, but you got to take it one step at a time. Regardless, Connor unfortunately going to put his door panel straight into that rock and scrape through this bind on that door panel. Surprisingly, that wrap held up really, really good, and you could barely even tell that happened. But I would have probably pulled the car out just to avoid scratching the wrap, although it didn't end up happening. Got that rear tire just holding on. Here we go. Connor able to throttle out at the right time and get it to stick in the bottom, and now we just got to kind of wiggle and get ourselves out of the overhang on that front passenger tire. So great driving there, Connor. The old Chupa Capra gets it done. Alright guys, and here is my own Chupa Capra cage. These are made by Super Shafty. They are a billet aluminum machined side. It's like this, the whole side of the car is machined out of billet aluminum, and then they use chassis spacers through the middle to connect the right and left side. So these are not welded together. These are a solid piece of billet on the sides that they have machined to look like tube work. So pretty awesome. Unfortunately not an inexpensive process, so these cars are a little pricey for the cage, and sometimes they're a little hard to track down. But right here I'm going to try and get myself set up for this. It's a hard left turn into the crack ahead, and so I need to get my rear set up to where the left rear is up on the wall. So I'm trying to basically get that rear worked into position while also dropping the front end down to stay stable as it comes down through here. Now right here I probably should have kicked my rears out to the ledge, but I didn't end up doing that, and the car starts to get in a bit of a bind with the overdrive and turning sharp downhill as the front end starts to climb, and my front tires just go up on that rock on the right side. So I just go ahead and commit to that line, and I figured that I could do a couple of forward reverses and get myself set up here. Now there's going to be a cut here in a second, and off camera, or at least off video, it took me a bunch of tries to get the car planted and started to climb. Every time I would get the rears into position, it would lift the nose. So eventually I stopped recording, figured out the line, got the car up onto this crack, and then started recording again. So unfortunately I didn't have my perfect attempt on camera, but that's how it goes sometimes with these hard lines, you know. When you hit this level of difficulty, it doesn't always go smoothly, and I don't want to waste a bunch of your guys' time. But here we are dragging my door panel on the way out here. I tried to get my passenger tire a little bit more on the rock as we come down through here, keep the chassis a little more level, and then I'm trying to keep the rears in the position I want. And then I make probably a bad call here where I end up turning the rears out towards the ledge, and I am standing here, so the car is right at eye level. So if you don't want it to fall off this ledge and throttle at the wrong point in time, end up on my roof on the drop out the back. Here is Zach taking another attempt at this one. This is just a fun line, which I'm glad he came back and did. Watch how smoothly Zach makes this transition right here. And there's no dig there. That was all four-wheel drive. It's just the way he positioned the rear, positioned the front, and chose his line. Zach is an excellent driver and does really, really well with this little RC Speedy Buggy here. And always fun to watch Zach hit the hard lines. It's really fun to challenge each other while we're out there and see if we can find lines that maybe one or the other can or cannot do. So always a good time. Zach has the gray Trial axles under the bottom of his car. So high strength, cage is all metal. It's got a Hobbywing Fusion. Zach's running Reef's Raw 500 servos. I'm a big fan of Reef's servos as well. And I believe his have been tuned up a little bit. The fully programmable Reef servos, Zach turned those up, probably to 11 on those, so pretty awesome there. Here we're taking a look at Steve's Interceptor. This one's on, again, Vanquish steer axles. This one, again, on my Cut and Shut Swampers. I'm pretty sure everybody in this video is running a set of my Cut and Shut tires, so that's pretty cool. I really appreciate the support from all of my friends here. And yeah, really cool to see all my tires out there, and no issues while we were out there running extremely grippy rock and extremely hard lines. So always fun to see those things being put to use. Steve's got a great looking Interceptor here. It's kind of his signature colorway with the bright orange truck and the gray hood. He's got 4 or 5 different builds with that paint scheme on them, all slightly different, but if you see a truck like that, it's most likely Steve out there on the rocks. Of course, it will be smothered in Rock Pirates goodies because he is Mr. Rock Pirates himself. So super fun going out there and wheeling with the guys from Rock Pirates RC. Just more than gracious letting us go and crash at their place for the weekend while we wanted to go out to California and crawl around for a while. So thanks again to Rock Pirates for letting us do that and filling up the couches as we were crashing all over the place in their house. So thanks guys, I greatly appreciate it. It was a blast on this trip, had so much fun, and anytime we get to go out here and crush hard lines in the buggies, especially on new terrain where you get to find new lines and, you know, exciting things, and hey man, come look at this, check out what I found. I love that kind of stuff out there with my friends on the rocks. So it was a killer weekend, and overall just 11 out of 10. And this was actually Friday. We went wheeling Friday and Saturday. Friday was just kind of the group of us where you got Steve, Connor, Zach and Luke and myself, and then the next day we went down to Corona Del Mar, which I have coverage on as well. So if you're curious how all those lines went, we were met up with a bunch of friends out there, and you're gonna see a bunch of those guys roaming around in the background of my video. So be sure to check out Bonebox RC on YouTube as well. They've got a video out there on that day, so go over to Bonebox and check out their YouTube channel. Lee has started to post more consistent content. Here we're seeing Steve get a little bit sideways on the exit of that one, but ultimately crawled out the back side of it and made it look pretty smooth. Well guys, this is pretty much the end of the video. This is one last bonus climb I got with my Trooper Capra that just does not look possible. The only way I was able to get this was to crab into it to make that front tire reach as high as possible, and with the overdrive and that front left tire hooking onto the edge of the rock, I was just able to make this thing climb up what seems like an impossible climb. I mean, a legitimate 12-inch tall climb right there, and it's got a pretty harsh breakover as well. You got to keep your belly off the ground, barely enough traction to push it up and out the top. Really cool. Horseman's is awesome. Really looking forward to going back here for Pro Line by the Fire. You can see Scumbag over there checking out where I'm heading and asking if he can film for me, which of course I drive one-handed all the time. So I greatly appreciate you guys watching this one. Thanks so much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Drop your comment down below if you've ever wheeled with the Rock Pirates boys. Those guys do like to go out to events and hang out with everybody. We'll see you guys on the next one. Keep the rubber side down.